Hey, it's the Right Rican, and today we'll talk about a story that everybody's talking about. But there's a reason I'm going to talk about it in particular because it affected me. Because when I shared the story, a Fox News story of Tucker Carlson and his interview with a Chinese virologist, it got my Facebook page blocked from being from being boosted and being seen because of um, a fake fact check. And so what I'm going to share with you is I guess that there's a there's a couple things going on. The Fauci admitted during the weekend. I'm gonna go through that article, but I also found this here. See, Chinese virologist claims she has proof coronavirus is not from nature. Chinese virologist Dr. Li Ming Yang told Fox News host Tucker Carlson on Friday that she allegedly has evidence that COVID 19 was lab made and was intentionally released by the Chinese government. Dr. Yan is still speaking out over the virus despite attempts by the media, big tech, and the Chinese Communist Party to silence her in America. She reportedly cannot go back to China because she would be arrested for exposing their alleged um, machinations, as Carlson explained Friday. Even the liberal media seems to be warming up to the idea, which is, well, like I said, that I'm going to go into that. I just want to show you here. Um, PolitiFact fact check. Tucker Carlson gets guest airs debunked conspiracy theory that COVID-19 was created in a lab. Now, here's the whole thing, and this is why I tell you you cannot trust these sites. Now, granted, I will give them credit for saying that they're archiving it and they're showing, but here's the problem: if you see what they did to get their PolitiFact, their fact check, you can see here all they did was get opinions. So you're not PolitiFact, you're opinion, because you're not giving facts. Here it goes. When this fact check was first published in September 2020, PolitiFact sources, including researchers who asserted the SARS-CoV-2 virus could not have been manipulated, the assertion is now widely disputed. For that reason, we are removing this fact check from our database, pending a more thorough review. Shouldn't you have done this thorough review before you done the fact check? Because you got PolitiFact got my page nuked for all intensive purposes. So, so you fact checked someone else's, basically, let's say her opinion, but she says she has facts. So you fact checked her opinion with your opinion. You didn't get facts. You didn't get um you didn't get any concrete evidence. You just got someone else's opinion. That's it. And that's what these fact checks do. It's just an opinion. That's all it is. That's all they do. And people, believe that these fact checking sites are actual facts when they're not. They're just, I could say the sky is blue, fact check false. It was cloudy today, so the sky was gray. It's like, okay, but where I was at, there was no clouds. But that's the way it works. So, like I said, that's why I'm talking about this, because what ended up happening over this weekend was, like I said, you get the story of the virologist again talking about how she has more evidence. And here it goes. Then, you know, uh, the doctor of doctors, the great Dr. Fauci, who's um I mean, how is he still in this position? I mean, this is the second time he screwed up a pandemic. Look what he did with AIDS, and look what's going on now with this. I mean, normally someone would lose their job, but people have like deified him. So, all of the so called scientific experts knew from the very beginning of this pandemic that it was plausible COVID 19 leaked from the Wuhan Institute of Virology and spread to the rest of the world. They just didn't want you to know that. When Republicans first raised questions about WIV's role in COVID-19 outbreak back in early 2020, the experts, including Fauci, were quick to dismiss them as baseless, unscientific allegations. And here's the whole thing. Now he's coming clear of it, but I want to. Here's the interview. This is what he said. If you look at the evolution of the virus in bats and what's out there now, the scientific evidence is very, very strong, leaning toward that this could not have been artificially or deliberately manipulated. Everything about the stepwise evolution over time strongly indicates that the virus evolved in nature and then jumped species. Sure, but what if the scientists found the virus outside the lab, brought it back, and then escaped? Fauci was asked. But so here's the whole thing. When it was politically convenient for him to say that it didn't escape from a lab, he was, no, 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 no. It was politically expedient for him to do that. Kind of like the stuff with the mask. His first thing was, oh, don't wear mask. They're not effective. And then, let me see where where the wind's blowing. Nope, mask no good. Oh, wait. 2 masks, 3 masks. Let's see, where's the wind blowing this time? Oh, I don't know. So now he's like, the wind is saying, oh, damn, didn't I last year say that this was false? Now I'm gonna have to say it's plausible. Which that's what he should have just said from the beginning. It wasn't. It would have been. It would have just been his opinion. Could it be possible? Of course, it could be possible. But no, he didn't. His fights with Rand Paul will tell you. He didn't. Instead of like when Rand Paul was grilling him about the money that the NIH sent to a contractor that ended up sending that money to the Wuhan Institute. Then he's like, no. Look, listen, you may have not given it to them directly, but the fact that you gave it to a intermediate before they got it, you still responsible for that money that you gave to the intermediate. So to me, this guy is full of Fauci. So anyways, I'm gonna keep going with this article here. So I don't spend a lot of time going. He goes here, but that means it was in the wild to begin with. He replied, "That's why I don't get what you're talking about, and why I don't spend a lot of time going on this circular argument." It turns out that circular argument Fauci found so ridiculous last year is the one that makes the most sense, which even he had to admit this month when asked if he was still confident COVID-19 emerged naturally. Fauci said, no, actually, no, I'm not convinced about that. I think we should continue to investigate what went on in China until we find out the best of our ability exactly what happened. And he goes here. What's so frustrating about Fauci's admission is that much of the information about the WIV, the research it was conducting, and the lack of proper safety protocol in the lab has been available for months. We've known since last year that in 2018, U.S. science diplomats warned the State Department that the WIV's poor lab practices were extremely concerning given the dangerous research its researchers were conducting. We've known for months that the WIV was experimenting with various coronavirus strains because of Dr. Xi Zhang, the head of the coronavirus project at the WIV, admitted as much to multiple publications. And we've known since last year because of a Trump State Department's investigation that Dr. Xi's research was potentially gain of function, which means it was meant to improve the ability of a pathogen, in this case a coronavirus, to cause disease. And Fauci's known this for months. So why is he now beginning to admit the lab leak theory is worth consideration? Here's what they say. The simplest answer is that the lab leak theory is now mainstream, so it's a lot easier for Fauci to entertain it. Scientists are no longer dismissing it out of hand. In fact, they're demanding investigation into it. Fauci would look out of touch if he didn't do the same. And exactly what I said, he meant Now it's acceptable. Now I could, I'm not sticking my neck out. I'm just, I'm just going to now say it, it goes here. Let me see what's in the next paragraph here. The more cynical explanation for Fauci's flip flop is that he wants to get rid of any skepticism regarding his role as head of the NIH and the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, and its relationship with the WIV. Fauci has denied that his agency, which is part of the National Institute of Health, directly funded gain of function research at WIV, but the facts suggest otherwise. The NIH awarded several grants to New York based Eco Health Alliance, a health nonprofit that in turn provided at least $600,000 of the NIH's funding to the Wuhan lab for that coronavirus research. So that's what I was talking about earlier. And we're to believe that Fauci and the NIH had absolutely no idea what the WIV was up to. So look, listen. Here I'm gonna go here about Pompeo. Pompeo says it's outrageous U.S. officials, including Fauci, dismissed lab leak theory. Pompeo said he's convinced COVID-19 outbreak began in Wuhan lab. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on Monday said that it's outrageous. Top government epidemiologist Anthony Fauci and others early in the pandemic dismissed the possibility that COVID-19 could have escaped from a Wuhan Institute of Virology, a lab located in Wuhan, China, where the outbreak began. Pompeo's comments came after a former State Department official told Fox News on Sunday that about a month before COVID-19 was first reported in Wuhan, foreign government contacts told State Department officials that workers at the WIV had fallen ill in mid-November 2019. It was outrageous to see science, even government U.S. official scientists, who were denying this when they surely must have seen the same information that I had seen, Pompeo said. That certainly includes Dr. Fauci. And here's the whole thing. So, like I said, this is information that, they were mocking Trump for last year and mocking anyone who brought it up, saying that it's possible. But why wasn't, to me, I want to know, other than the fact that they didn't like Trump, so everything Trump said had to be wrong. And he always, why would you just deny, why would you help China in covering it up? That's what you know, tell me that, media. Why were you covering up for China? Was it just because of Trump? Was it just because of your Trump hatred? I'd like you to at least admit that you had, Trump derangement syndrome. And that's why anything Trump did, you had to do the opposite. Because, at least, you know what? I could forgive that. But if you're just turning a blind eye to what China does, then, that's just, it's sick. I mean, you want to, there's people who want to bring, socialism, Marxism into this country. That's ultimately what you get. It's like you don't get you you can't have a free country and Marxism. You can have some sort of government help, but you cannot have, these people want a controlled economy because they say they don't, but you can't. A minimum wage is a controlled economy because you're telling the businesses the least amount they could pay people. Now it's, like what's going on now. Like the government's paying so much to people that you can, they can't get any workers because the government's paying them more than what the companies could afford. And who's paying for it? Our grandchildren, our great grandchildren, because we're certainly, we're already in debt for other things that the government has done. That's the whole thing. When people are asking, for these government bailouts, these government handouts, it's, we're already beyond what our generation's paying. We're looking at, our children's children are paying for the stuff that we're doing right now. So, anyways, like I said, I mean, this just infuriates me about that. The government is they had the information, and then you had people going on TV like Fauci and dismissing what Trump said, even though they saw the same information that he did. And now and now a year later, because Trump's not there, now you guys can admit it. And it's sick. It's really sick. I was talking with my my mother this weekend. Went to go visit my parents, and she's there complaining about about the gas prices and how the prices of everything is going up. So I hold her and I go, Mom, you voted for this. Oh, but why I was going to vote for Trump? If you wanted the same low gas prices and and same lower food prices and all that stuff, less inflation, then yes, you should have voted for Trump. But the media has done such a good job at getting people to hate Trump. As much as they hate what Biden's doing right now, they forgot what the Trump economy was like pre-COVID. They did such a good job. You painting going, oh, the economy is so bad because of Trump. No, governors were the ones that closed their states, and the states that were less restrictive, their economies are doing well. You got, Florida, South Dakota. You got Texas. All these states that didn't, do these strict lockdowns. Their economies are improving. So it's he let the states do. He did exactly what a federal government, what a federal person who believes in federalism should do. You let the states handle their business, and you help them where you can. You don't do a one size all plan for something like this, because at the end of the day, what works in New York City is not going to work in Wyoming or Montana. Same thing that you know even if you go into a state, let's say for example, what works in like Ithaca, New York, is not going to work. Is not going to work in New York City. I lived in Texas for a few years. I'm gonna give you a Texas example. It's like, if you're there in, East or West Texas where you're not so populated, it's not gonna be so bad as like is in Houston or Dallas. You can't follow the same plans. So, but that's what you get. That's what's going on. I saw a funny sign on when I was driving. Then I saw a sign that said, "Don't blame me. I voted for Trump." And that's exactly how when I see my friends who voted for Biden, I said the same thing to my sister not too long ago. I told, you get what you vote for. You hated Trump, and this is what you got. So, um, anyways, on a side note, when we're still talking, since I was still talking about COVID, I want to just to bring this up. Rand Paul refusing to get vaccinated because he already had COVID. And it goes here, Senator Rand Paul has said he won't get the COVID-19 vaccine because he already had the coronavirus and believes he now has natural immunity, which used to be the case. Now they want you to get a vaccine. One of the first senators to test positive for the virus last March told um, John, I'm not going to butcher his name, on his WABC 770 AM show that it's a personal decision to opt out of the vaccine. Until they show me evidence that people who have already had the infection are dying in large numbers or being hospitalized or getting very sick, I just made my own personal decision that I'm not getting vaccinated because I've already had the disease and I have natural immunity. It goes here, the CDC has encouraged people who have had COVID to get vaccinated because experts do not yet know how long you are protected from getting sick again after recovering. Even if you've already recovered from COVID-19, it is possible, although rare, that you could be infected with the virus that causes COVID-19 again. So this is the whole thing. Look, listen, they tell you if you get vaccinated, you still might be able to get it. And if you had it, you still might be able to get it again. So guess what? Whether you've had it or not, I mean, whether if you haven't had it, I mean, if you've had it, you really don't need the vaccine, because as much as they're saying they don't know if you're going to have it And oh, wait, I'm not a doctor. Don't take my advice. What I'm saying is, if you've had it, you know, you have your body's already fought it off. You have some sort of your body has an immune response. That's what our immune system's built for. That's why I say I rather, instead of focusing on a vaccine, I rather focus on building my immune system, making it strong. So like that, I can fight off a disease, any disease. It doesn't have to be COVID. It could be anything that pops up. That if I have a strong immune system, even if it's a novel virus like a coronavirus is, then guess what? My body could fight it off just because the fact that it's strong enough to do so. Because that's why not everybody who got it died. People think that you get it, you dead. That's not the case. Um, but yeah, so I'm so happy that that he's bringing common sense to this, and that's why in all honesty, that's why he was my first choice in 2016. And if whenever he runs, he'll be my first choice because he's a common sense guy. Um, so, anyways, I am going to leave it there. Let me just I'm going to stop sharing so you could see me in my glory. Um, I feel a little refreshed, even though I'm exhausted. Um, I was talking about my father. We went to go see my father. Please, if you're my prayer warrior people there, please continue to pray for him. We still don't know when they're going to do surgery. That's what we're waiting for to find out. He has to go see a specialist, and I don't. Hopefully, we'll find out soon enough what's going to go on. Um, but anyways, so anyways, I'm the Ray Rican. You can follow me on YouTube and Rumble. So I post my videos. I'm trying to. I have other things I'm thinking about of doing. Like I said, I'm still reaching out to people, so I want to have more guests on, and I'll go from there. But you can follow me also on social media: Facebook, Twitter, and Gab. With that being said, have a good one.